Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lifestyle with Dr. Moby. I'm Dr. Moby, and today we are honored with great guest Christine with us. How are you doing, Christine?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. I just want to tell Christine is actually a great teacher for Reiki, and she's also instructor. So tell us about yourself.
Absolutely. So I started Reiki long time ago. My dad was doing Reiki when I was a child. And when I got reintroduced to it as an adult, when I was about 20 years old, I was working in a birth center and I was already catching babies and helping mamas. I was reintroduced to Reiki and started my Reiki journey as an adult. I became a Reiki master in 2004 and started teaching in 2009. So it's been over a decade, and now I have my own Reiki online school called Reiki Cafe University with 3 colleges, Reiki, chakras, and business. So we love supporting Reiki practitioners and spiritual entrepreneurs and all those who love to dive deeper on their own internal healing.
Okay, very nice. Thank you for educating us. So tell us about your journey. How did you start being in this field?
So I feel like when I really started to shift into my Reiki practice was actually around 2009. I had already been a Reiki master, but it was kind of something that sat on the back burner. It was like a tool in the toolbox that never got really utilized. And in 2009, 2010, I was leaving a really difficult marriage. I was in a emotionally abusive marriage where if I try to do Reiki or try to be my authentic self, I was pretty much told that I was a witch and other names that I shouldn't say on any kind of live broadcast. So it was this turning point of really accepting myself and really wanting to do the deeper work to really heal all the layers of me as I started my Reiki journey as a teacher. And what happened over the years is that my ex kept popping up. It's like if you don't deal with something, it keeps revealing itself. So I had, he was still fairly emotionally abusive, even post-divorce because we had a child together. And so it was pretty dramatic and calling the police about not having the right soccer shorts on for soccer practice and just really menial things. And there came a point where it was very difficult to live in this mama bear, I need a fight or flight action. And so I just quit. I quit participating. I gave up custody for temporarily and really turned inward and to work on myself because I was at the point of severe anxiety and depression and a little PTSD going on that I knew I needed to heal me first before I could heal others, take care of my family and support other people. So that was the real turning point for me to really embrace my Reiki practice and meditation and chakra healing.
And for audience sake, I just want to kind of tell who doesn't know about Reiki. I hope everybody knows that's an alternative medicine, and it was actually originated in Japan. And the whole idea is transferring with the physical touch, transferring of the energy or healing, what we call healing for energy healing, right? Is that the right word? So tell us a little bit about the concept. So, I mean, I'm also new.
Yeah. So as a Reiki practitioner, it feels really good for the practitioner, even if they're working on themselves or others, because the Reiki practitioner becomes the conduit of energy. So you have this divine love light source energy, and it is welcomed into the practitioner chakra. So it comes through the crown chakra, fills them up, and then overflows out their hands to the client, back to themselves, to their pets, to the plants. It's just pulling in. It's this drawing in, receiving this divine light energy. And, my favorite way to explain Reiki is that you can look at the kanji, it splits into two words. There's Rei and there's Ki. We hear Ki all the time. Qi Gong, Tai Chi, Qi walking even now exists. And so Qi is that life force energy. And the Rei is what makes it special. The Rei is this spiritually guided, this universal life source energy. And so being this universal source, the practitioner just begins to become the conduit of this flow, and it knows that because it is spiritually guided, it knows where it needs to go, what's the highest priority for that person, for that practitioner. And so it can heal on mind, body, spirit, emotional, mental, whatever it needs to be, and it will go right directly to where it needs to go. And the practitioner is guided. And you can either do hands-on healing, or you can send it via distance, because Reiki isn't bound by time or space. And so I could be here and working on someone in the United Kingdom, and it is just as effective.
Okay, so those are the energy. Now, it was originated in 1800s. Has it changed over the years?
Yes. Well, and it really got reestablished in about 1920s. And so that's when Sensei Sui, or the founder of Reiki Roho, was really starting to actively create a society. Clinics were popping up around Kyoto. And then World War II hit. And so things really shifted because of the time. And so when World War II happened in Japan, we had this movement of it needs to be Western medicine and nothing else. And so a lot of the traditional Japanese healing modalities, Japanese spiritual beliefs, they were getting smoldered. They were trying to be put out by this American force coming in. And so a lot of it went underground, and some of it had already left Japan. And so one of the main practitioners who brought Reiki to the West was Miss Takata. And so she was a Japanese American immigrant living in Hawaii. So she had traveled to Japan, received the training, and right before the war broke out, she was back in Hawaii with this Reiki wisdom, and she is the one who brought it to the West.
Mm-hmm. So at that time there was some changes made between with the current one into the next one, so that has evolved on. Okay, so tell me about what conditions we can benefit, or
absolutely. It really is very versatile. And that's one of the most beautiful things about it, is it doesn't matter if it's a broken bone or colitis or cancer, or if this is just emotional wounding from childhood. It can move in and work on whatever layer needs to happen. And what I notice in my practice is that the physical, the exterior physical, is what needs to be healed first. It's the priority that comes up first. And when there is no physical layer to be healed, then it works on the emotional. Then it works on the spiritual. Then it works on past lives. And so there's this uncovering, this unfolding of that onion layers of what needs to be healed. Because oftentimes, I would say 95% or more of the time, of your physical conditions are related back to your emotional ones. And so oftentimes when you're working on the physical conditions, you'll pick up on, oh, here's the underlying reasoning of why this is manifesting in the body.
Okay. Now tell me, with the current situation with COVID, has it changed, because this involves person-to-person interaction, right?
Yeah, so we had a big shift. The Reiki industry was kind of hesitant, especially in the US. We don't have a lot of regulations in the US like Canada, like the UK. They have really well-established associations, where US doesn't. And so we've always had a lot of online Reiki classes and people in person, and it was really looked down upon to do Reiki online. Well, with COVID, all of that switched. People started to embrace their presence online, going on Zoom calls to do their trainings, and really starting to look at teachers of, is this teacher a person of integrity that I want to learn from, rather than all online classes are not acceptable. And so we had a big shift of, it's okay to teach online. It's okay to do sessions online. It's okay to really start feeling into the energy for what it is, which is, it's boundless. It's not bound by being in person with one another. And when it's accepted and open that way, the student, the client is able to really accept it just as if they were in person. I had many of my students who have had in-person sessions and attunements with me. That's our initiation process into the Reiki world, come on to my online and said that it was actually more powerful to do distance work. And so personally, I found COVID to be very, it was like freedom. It's like, oh yes, this is how we can do it for this new time, this new age, as we move into this new era where so much is going to be telehealth, so much is going to be over the internet, not bound by your physical location.
So pretty much, it has evolved into new dimensions with COVID, and, it wasn't there before. So that's for sure, and like everything, we are learning a lot in medicine too, we are practicing more telemedicine what we ever used to. Businesses have also cut down their business travel. I mean, there is a reconfiguration for everything, but I'm glad that with Reiki, they've found still kind of online being more effective still, and is able to survive because, my concept was that there is a transfer of physical contact with Reiki therapy, and if that is not there, how do you give an alternative to that portion?
Yeah, and so this has been around for as long as Reiki's been around. The distance hasn't been new. It didn't evolve into this. It's more of like, oh, now it's just more available, which is great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so basically what the practitioner does is use specific Reiki symbols that we are attuned to during our initiation into level 2, into master's practitioner. And part of that is just to move beyond this physical 3D reality. Okay. And so I'll envision being with you. I'll envision being with my client and envision where my hands need to go. Other clients may use a photo or a surrogate like a doll, whatever they feel comfortable with to send the Reiki to. But oftentimes it feels very much like you're in their space, and it's because there's no physical contact. You can go right to the issue so much faster. It's like you don't have to worry about that physical barrier because we're working in the spiritual dimension. And so we're going right to the root of the issue rather than having to work through multiple layers before we get there. And so it can be sometimes quite a bit faster, quite a bit more potent to not have to worry about where are my hands touching, what is going around in the situation, what smells are around, what noise is around, what distractions are around. And if we can just both, the practitioner and the client, be in a meditative state, being willing to receive the Reiki is going to do the rest. It's going to know and move right to where they need it the most.
Wow. So what you're saying is, in this way, those minimal distractions, which could be, fragrance in the room, or could be ambience, or could be anything, but that's gone, and now you're communicating directly with one-to-one, and with the right amount of energy and right amount of precision, right there to the point. And so, tell me how long your session lasts, Norman.
Usually my distance sessions last between 30 and 45 minutes.
30.
Because they're in person, there's oftentimes this, I have to get comfortable and settled into my space. distance Reiki sessions don't need that time and flexibility. We can just go right there. And so they can be a little bit shorter and just as effective.
So that is not going to impact anyway in terms of now what kind of package or program you have?
So I typically offer a coaching combination session. So I'm also a chakra coach. So what that means, it's very like a Western approach to Reiki, is that I'm taking the Reiki as part of the session, and then I'm bringing in coaching so that they can self-discover their own answers, as well as bring in ideas for how to bring it to the next step. What are your goals? Where do you want to see yourself in the future? How do we stay in the present moment and move forward rather than hang on to past issues, past trauma, past cords, past energetics that are holding us back, so that we can truly move forward in an authentic way. So I typically like to combine it with coaching, whereas many practitioners will just do a Reiki session, which is anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, where it's just being that transfer of energy.
Mm-hmm. And so also tell us a little bit about what is the duration, like how long somebody needs, 1 month, 3 sessions, 6 sessions.
Right. So I would say there are some people out there that can have a one and done, slam bam, thank you ma'am, like get all that stuff out. That's typically not what happens. It usually moves and progresses to where the client is most comfortable. So if they are really, they don't like being vulnerable, they don't want to expose themselves, if they have a lot of boundaries and blocks up around the heart, it's like polishing silver. I'm going to take one little area and polish it, and then I'm going to move and I'm going to polish the other side until it's gleaming. So it could be 3, 5, 10 sessions later. Weekly sessions are best, so that you are actually making progress rather than taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So it depends on like the client. If they have a lot of health issues, if they have cancer, if they have something really extreme going on, they might need more sessions. If it's just working on the emotional layer and they don't have physical stuff going on, well, then we can work on that. And working over a couple of months can really do some deep healing work on limiting beliefs and things that have been holding them back.
And I put your website for audience. So this is your website, and this is the ongoing support, teachers you can trust. So that would be your session probably when you were doing in person, right?
Yes. Yep.
But the good news is you can do remotely, and this is yourself, and so those are the some of the programs you have, and you have your blog also, and so tell me a little bit about also these College of Chakras and College of Business and College of Reiki. What is the difference?
Yeah, so the College of Reiki really focuses on Reiki training.
Okay.
And so we have our level 1 and level 2 classes, as well as our masters coming up here in April. And so that's really, we have a professor fully dedicated to the College of Reiki, Bruce Taylor. He's studied all over China and Japan. So he's a wealth of information, and we collaborate. So he brings the West, I bring the West, and he brings the Eastern viewpoints of Reiki, and we combine those for the College of Reiki. Whereas the College of Business is really here to support Reiki practitioners and spiritual entrepreneurs really move forward with their business. What we often see is that so many Reiki practitioners and spiritual entrepreneurs have so many gifts to share with the world, but they don't know how to execute. They don't know how to build their confidence level, and how to manage a business, and how to do the social media part and really put themselves out there. So the College of Business is really designed to support Reiki professionals and spiritual entrepreneurs to make that jump. Whereas the College of Chakras, what you'll find here is a lot of information on learning how to see the chakras as a roadmap to healing. So the chakras are very much a way to see them. It's like, here's my physical ailment. Well, here's also the emotional component of that same chakra. And so you can see the emotional component. You can work on the emotional piece, the spiritual piece, and the physical ailment will start to subside. And so the College of Chakras, we have a chakra clairvoyant coaching certification program that we'll be offering again here this summer. We have coaching available, and this is really to help you dive into really understanding where the block's coming from. Because when you can understand the chakras, then it doesn't matter what healing modalities you use. It could be Reiki, it could be acupuncture, it could be therapy. It could be belly dancing. There's so many things that are possible to heal and bring those chakras back into balance. But we need to have the map laid out before us.
Okay, and you have this how to teach Reiki. These are the levels, different levels of learning, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so these are some of the conditions with for pregnancy, birth, postpartum, abundance, and this is level 2, and so people can gradually master or learn about it, right? So
that's correct. Yep.
and then we have your College of Business. I'm gonna just highlight all that. So this is some of the models you have, right? Coaching.
Yep.
Okay, very nice, very nice, and I'm glad to to offer a lot of our viewers new things so they can kind of check out these. And this is a better technique in terms of manifesting a new alternative medicine. So it's not about taking medication or applying. So it's getting the positive energy or the transferring the energy, and healing is going to happen. So tell me also about some of the conditions you really saw a big impact.
I've been in the business for a long time, so I've seen so much, but I have seen bones that have had really tremendous breaks heal faster than what doctors expected and come back saying, what did you do? Because they healed 4 weeks earlier than they were expected to, just by having a couple sessions a week. I've seen people who have come to me numerous times and says, what we accomplished in one session, I wasn't able to do in 2 years of therapy. So whether it's the physical or you have cancer, I had a cancer patient that worked with me for 3 years. She was off and on hospice because everyone thought she only had a few weeks, few months to live. And yet she was on and off for 3 years because it extended her life so impactfully, because it was bringing things into balance that needed to be in balance so that she could extend her life. So Reiki can really work on wherever you're at. And that's the beautiful thing. If you feel healthy, if you feel great, well, Reiki is just going to give you that boost of energy to give you even more vibrancy in your life, more energy in your life. So even if you feel great, Reiki is a great way to keep maintaining and just keep going forward with confidence and clarity.
Okay, very nice, very nice. And people can check out her website, and I think we put that again. Let me put that one more time. And so this is her website, and you can check out a lot of things. This is her homepage, and you can, you have music too. Wow, is that a new thing?
Yeah, so we added some Reiki music to our YouTube channel. We have a really good following over on YouTube. Feel free to check that out as well. But they're great for just playing in the background to help balance your chakras while you do your Reiki practice. And Reiki is really easy to learn. And so it's a great tool to have for your own personal life so that you can heal yourself, work on your pets, work on your plants. It just feels really amazing.
Okay, and I'm putting this is your songs or sound. Actually, I have it already. Let me share it with the audience, so if they want to see that. So beside the music, so do you see what is the future lies for your organization or for your program?
Yeah, so what we're hoping is that we want to reach as many people as possible, and letting them know that Reiki is a fundamental tool that you can have in your everyday life to bring more vitality to your world. And so this is our sacral chakra music. And so while we play this and we feel into the movement of this music, it can have this underlying healing effect on sacral chakra. So all of our music on YouTube is infused with Reiki energy so that you feel that as you listen. So you receive healing as you listen as well. So our vision for Reiki Cafe is to be the #1 school in the Americas for Reiki training and business support, knowing that you can become a chakra coach yourself and really have an impact on your community that you would love to have.
Okay, very nice. I think we got a pretty good of your program info. So tell us also any final thoughts or final message you would like to have for our audience.
Mhm. My final message for the audience, all the listeners out there, is that you are worthy of healing, that you are worthy to do this internal work, and that you can have a life of your dreams, the life that where you're healthy, that your family's healthy, and that there isn't the triggers and the traumas and repeated cycles going on, that healing is possible. And that everyone it's our birthright to be able to experience that.
Okay, well, with that message, I would just also second that, and a lot of positive energy, positive things actually lie with us. Answer lies within us. And Reiki is one of the form which actually uses your brain and energy to channelize it better. And you'll be amazed with the results. And brain is so amazing that, it is complex as well as simple that it does heal if you allow it to heal, and then also complex that in a sense that don't give up on that, because it has miracle. It can pull up anything from its tools and get your body back to track. Miracles don't look elsewhere but in your brain, and you channelize your energy, and that would be my message. Same thing. Take care and enjoy the show. Take care. Thank you for coming. Thank you.